So in this video, I want to talk about this Maddie Hart, I think her name is, and her father, I don't remember his name, Ben Hart maybe. He's 66 years old, she's 24, so he had her when he was 42. And his oldest kid might be like 28 to 30, so he had his kids pretty late in life, so he got himself a young, much younger wife, somebody that had to be much younger, because he probably popped out his first kid around 36. And, well, for his wife to pop out 4 kids with, quite a bit of space between them year-wise, she'd have to be in her 20s. And he found out why you don't do that, especially in the West. He had to pay $5 million. He was put 600 grand into a college account for these kids. He paid for everything. And this ungrateful broad decided to go online and tell various lies about him and smear his reputation, endanger his business, doxed him, showed his picture, in addition to the lies she told, which she must have known would instigate many of her tens of thousands of followers to brigade him on social media, call his workplace, call his people that he works with from his ad agency, try to get him canceled, which is exactly what happened. And when he called her out on her lies, instead of keeping her big yap shut, or apologizing, she decided to double down and be even more, not less, but more negative, more insulting, less honest, to tell some more lies, to go after him even more, which I found shocking. And when she did that, well, Dad decided to respond again. He already responded once, which I covered on my channel, but this is a new response to her follow-up where she proceeds to trash him again. Which I don't understand. She proceeds to trash this poor guy again, and he uncovers even more lies that she has told. So let's get into this. It's very long. Let's just try to get through it, and I will keep the commentary to a minimum.
This video is a follow-up to my Sunday video on my daughter's viral video trashing me, her dad. And these videos are all over the internet now, with titles like Bitcoiner and Breakdancing Dad Ben Hart navigate storm from daughter's viral TikTok video. And you should see my first video on this topic before watching this video, just so you know what this storm is all about. But here's a quick recap. My daughter Maddie is a 24-year-old screenwriter in Hollywood. I love her so much, though we are on different sides politically for the most part. She's also a social media King Kong. Many of her TikTok videos get millions of views. Maddie's initial video about me got 7 million views last I looked, just on TikTok.
My dad abandoned my family when I was 5 years old. That is a wife and 4 kids. He abandoned us and then pursued amateur breakdancing.
Some more context is needed here, needless to say. I will talk about this in a moment. All right, let's continue with the video.
And he got really good. He blew up. He became a D-list celebrity status, viral breakdancer. He became the oldest actively competing breakdancer in the world. Here, I'll show you.
To see, take a look at this 60-year-old breakdancer. Yes, 60 years old. Amazing. That's Ben Hart. He's competing in a breakdancing competition in Philadelphia, and he may
look at her shaking her head in
winning over a lot of people on the internet.
Derision.
He really is. Yep.
Disapproval.
This guy wouldn't pay my medical bills.
That's a lie. And I love her disapproving attitude. He's 40 years old. 40 years older than her. Excuse me. And the way she acts, that's the mother's influence, by the way.
That is not true. More on that in a minute.
The worst part, damn it, he's good. He should not be able to move his body like that.
She's jealous.
He just left 4 kids to do that. He may not have paid for some of my medical bills growing up, but he did give me this breakdancing merchandise. So that's when he's on his
That is a nice shirt.
It's his b-boy name because his name is Ben Hart. I'll get texts like this, happy birthday, ? And then links to his breakdancing video.
That's true.
You have funny trauma.
Almost everyone I knew had seen this video and was asking me about it. Now she's posted a second video.
I know my dad posted like a 10-minute video or whatever being like, you know, my daughter's lying. We have a great relationship. I have a great relationship with all my kids. That's just objectively not true. Like, guys, we're all freaking out about this in my family group chat right now. We're being like, he's so unhinged and delusional. We don't know if he actually believes his own narrative or if he's lying on purpose, but he's just like a weird guy. Yeah, he said he lived down the street from us. That's not true. Or like if he did, it was only for a few months maybe, but actually...
Did you see this? So it's not true, or it was true, but just for a few months. You're going to find out both of those are lies.
For most of my childhood, he lived in Florida with
Also not true.
his new wife. Like, basically, like, I don't want to get into this. Like, again, like, my video was basically, like, sanitizing the situation and, like...
I don't want to get into it, but I've made 2 videos about it now, and I started the whole entire hubbub, but I don't want to get into it.
poking fun at the lightest parts of that childhood trauma, but obviously in real life it was a lot more like complicated and traumatic, and it was really hard. He left us, immediately married another woman. We didn't hear from him for years, and then he would visit every few months and we'd go out to dinner. But
another contradiction. Talk about lacking in self-awareness. So we didn't hear from him for years, except every few months when he would take us out to dinner.
like, he truly had no hand in raising us at all. We don't speak with any sort of regularity. He doesn't know when my birthday is. Like, as you guys saw in the video I posted, he got it wrong. He gave us some money growing up. I honestly don't know the nitty-gritty of the financial situation.
So I don't know the nitty-gritty of the financial situation, but he gave us some money growing up. Yeah, it turns out it was $5 million. And he paid for their education, paid for all the medical bills, paid for everything, bought her first car, paid for her first apartment, and yet... I don't really know the nitty-gritty, but I've been commenting on it to this point. Yeah.
Really don't. But I do know that several times I've asked him for financial help with medical expenses, like especially like in college, and he wouldn't help me. So that's what I was...
It's a lie, too. She said that it was during her childhood in the first video, not her college years. Just wanted to throw that in there. So more contradictions, more lies.
Referring to in my video when I was like, he wouldn't pay some of my medical bills. I'll probably delete this in the morning, but I'm,
Yes.
2 hard kombuchas in, and so I feel the need to kind of defend me and my family's like POV.
Yeah, even though he's your family too, and you wouldn't exist without him, but hey.
Line is, this guy was a completely absent father.
Except for those few months, every few months where he would take us out and he paid for everything, and mom did nothing, and he supported mom as well, so she could have the luxury of being there, and that's why I love and support mommy so much, even though if it weren't for daddy, mommy wouldn't have been able to be there at all.
It's like, I was just a bike ride away from those kids, and it's like, not once did any of us ever take a bike ride to his house. I don't think I've ever been in his house ever. So this whole thing is so bizarre. Like, I'm so surprised that he responded to my video, because I'm just like, damn, I could have actually made you seem like way worse than I made you seem. Like, in my video, I just made you seem like such a whimsical, funny guy.
Well, I mean, if you lie, yeah, you can make anybody seem as bad as you want them to seem.
But in real life, it was actually a lot darker. So I'm so surprised that he responded to it. And it's obviously kind of hurtful and weird. But again, we don't really have a relationship. So at the end of the day, it doesn't have a huge effect on me. It's just kind of a bummer for my family. And we're all kind of looking at this and looking at his response. And we're just like, this is crazy. If this is actually his narrative, it's like delusional.
Now, I'm not going to go through all of Maddie's points here, most of which are just a repeat of what her mom's been telling the kids for the last 19 years. Okay, so let's roll tape to see what childhood was actually like for my kids. And let's see how my relationship was with the kids even after the divorce. We have with us here Maddie Hart. She is a YouTube specialist. How many videos, Maddie, do you have on YouTube now?
About 54.
And what is your goal?
One day I want to be a partner.
What does that mean?
It means you get paid to make videos. Yeah.
So, Maddie, I'd like some more YouTube insights and clarification. What is the difference between a subscriber and a viewer and a friend? So you have about 300 subscribers, but how many...
By the way, I'm sure he knows what all those things mean. He's just trying to find some kind of common ground to bond with her. Not a bad dad.
Viewers of your videos would you say you've had so far?
I have several thousand views on my videos, several thousand views on my channel, and about like 500 friends.
He's such a deadbeat. He spent $10 million on him with inflation. But somehow he's a deadbeat. Mom didn't work and contribute in any way, but she was there.
Okay, we're gonna head in the water. We're at Lake Michigan. And that's Maddie right there. Alright, you look like a surfer. Alright, here, let me hold it for you. Get on there. Alright, I'll pull you out. Alright, we're hauling at the sea here. We gotta get over this sandbar. You're looking good. Here comes the big one. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta be careful not to get this wet. How's your surfing career going, Olivia? Yeah.
Very wholesome. It seems very wholesome.
Very good. Now what else do you want?
That's it.
Photoshop?
Yeah.
You want Photoshop?
Yeah. Are you allowed to download it on more than one computer?
There are probably limits to it. You probably can't do it.
You're allowed to download Final Cut Express on different computers.
I just gotta say, this guy's got receipts, while all she has is a bunch of subjective nonsense, and her response video was just calling him delusional and weird, just name-calling, character assassination attempts, ad homs, no real receipts, no real facts, just everything subjective. Right? So, of course, you couldn't in any way, shape, or form call her out.
If you can, I should download it on my computer.
There's a place called Kokomo. That's where you wanna go to get away from it all.
They seem like well-adjusted kids. Well, except her.
We're having fun here at the Deep River Water Park in Indiana, just outside Chicago. It's the largest water park in the Chicagoland area.
I thought that he never saw them, except every few months for dinner. This isn't dinner.
Hi, Maddie.
Hi.
So what are your reflections on the day?
It was pretty good, except it was really mean lady.
That was a mean lady, yeah. But we took care of her. What are you reading there? What's the book?
Anne Frank.
Diary of Anne Frank?
Yeah.
Where are you in the book?
70.
Pretty light reading for the summer.
Yeah. It cost
All
me
right.
$5.
Okay, any reflections on the day, Victoria? What did you get? What kind of ice cream did you get?
Oh, I didn't get ice cream. You got funnel cake instead.
You got what?
Funnel cake?
Funnel cake? Wow, that's pretty good. So,
I have 64 bugs.
you have how many bug bites?
64.
60. You counted them? Maddie and Olivia having a great time together.
Let's go on the black.
You want to go on the black water slide? That one over there? All right, let's go over there and do it.
Got the last single.
That seemed like a long way away, by the way, but he does it. He takes her over there. I think that's part of the problem. He probably did too much for these kids. Bunch of spoiled brats.
Good. All right.
Well, now there's more.
There you are. You look good. Yeah, I got it. All right, so how would you summarize the day at the water park?
It was pretty good. That lady was funny.
How would you rate it?
9.
A 9 out of 10? Where do you think it fell short?
I find it interesting. The guy is very systematic, assigning a rating system and trying to get feedback from his kids so that he can improve future outings with his kids. But he's weird and deadbeat. By the way, I'd like to add that if this guy was such a deadbeat, he seems to attend almost every important event, and he's actually filming graduation from a middle school, which I didn't even have. Who graduates from middle school when he's filming it? Yeah, he's such a deadbeat.
Victoria Eloise Hart. Alana Marie McCluskey. Devin Joseph.
You're going to high school? You have a good time? Yeah. Did great up there. Yeah.
All you gotta do is repeat after me. ABC.
is Trump.
Keep going. Keep Trump.
Seems like
But
more
though
than,
they may be parted,
seems like more than dinner.
there's still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer. Let it be. 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 Drive me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I miss the rains down in Africa. I miss the rains down in Africa. Have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know. Have you ever seen the rain coming down the state?
By the way, I just wanted to add, this guy's pretty talented. He knows his way around content creation better than me. I can't do this with all these switching scenes and the music and all that. By the way, is that something that a deadbeat father who didn't care would do? Create this kind of montage? Well, no.
And I would do anything for love. Oh, I would do anything for love.
Meatloaf. Good choice.
I would do anything for love.
Let me be clear. Maddie is not lying in her videos. She is saying
Yeah, she is.
in these videos what she perceives to be true from her perspective.
That's a lie. What is he talking about? Oh, God. I'm sorry. I have to interrupt. This is wokey stuff. And later he's going to say that they don't share the same kind of political views, and he sounds kind of red-pilled at one point. But this guy definitely has liberal leanings, especially when it comes to, his what seems to be a more ideological view of the world. Her perceptions. What are you, Obi-Wan Kenobi? No, a lie is a lie.
She's expressing her truth.
See what I'm talking about? There is no such thing as my truth, you pinhead, you. Oh my God.
And her perception is impacted radically by 19 years of brainwashing by my ex-wife. I don't want anyone attacking or bullying Maddie
He's too
for her
nice.
videos. Her videos express her perspective, and I believe they are honest from her perspective.
No, she's lying. I mean, I can see why you want to run interference and think the best of her since she's your kid and you have that unconditional love thing, which, by the way, she doesn't have for you as a man and a representation of the patriarchy, obviously, in her perceptual view. I wouldn't be as nice as this guy, yo.
So feel free to direct negative comments my way, but please don't bully Maddie. Now, I told Maddie I liked 98% of her video, but that there were some significant inaccuracies in there, like about me not paying medical bills. That's just not true. And the implication was that I was some kind of deadbeat dad. I paid her mom millions of dollars in alimony, child support, put hundreds of thousands of dollars into the kids' college funds, paid for their health insurance, of course, and out-of-pocket medical costs, as I should have. The result was that the kids were able to live in a wealthy suburb of Chicago, attend top colleges, and pursue very good careers. Anyways, I asked Maddie to take down her video and at least correct the damaging inaccuracies. It just wasn't true that I wasn't covering medical costs. I told her almost everyone I know had seen it, including clients. It had the potential to hurt my business, hurt me professionally. And I certainly don't think she meant any harm by her first video. But she declined to take down her video because she said her video had gone viral.
Oh, wow. She cares more about virality, views, internet clout, attention, eyeballs on her lies and misrepresentations than she does about her father's professional career. Or about her father. Wow. Ungrateful.
So she didn't want to take it down. So I came back a day or so later and told her that I had posted a response video on X. I told her the video response was very mild and very positive. It just corrects a couple of inaccuracies. And at that point, my video on X only had a few hundred views. She watched my video and seemed to like it, thought it was funny. So then I suggested, since you aren't going to take down your video and correct it, I would at least like you to post my response video on your feed. I explained to her that people will love it. predicted that it would get millions of views on her channel because her videos often get millions of views. I also suggested to her that after my response video, I could fly out to Los Angeles. We could then do a collaboration video, sitting down together and hash out these issues. People would love that, I said, but she declined. So I really
Of course she did. She's ashamed. She doesn't want to face you.
had no choice but to put up my response video to set the record straight, even if it only gets 200 views, which is about what I expected. Well, then my response video really started to blow up. It hit 1 million views in about 12 hours, then 5 million views, 10 million views, 20 million views, 30 million views, and on up from there. Maddie's mom started to freak out, sent me long text messages telling me to take my video down.
I find that amusing. So the mother doesn't tell the daughter to take her video down, which is full of lies, and she must know they're lies because she's the one getting the money. And by the way, I'm wondering if there's some medical bills that needed to be paid, why didn't the mother pay them? After all, it's not like she's hurting for money. $5 million, yo? Where'd that money go, by the way? They're asking him to pay for medical bills when she got $5 million. Why doesn't she pay? Where'd that money go, I wonder? But Maddie's upset with this dude? Yeah, okay.
I'm like, but Maddie's video is still up and has 7 million views, and that's just on TikTok. Plus, Maddie has posted a much more negative second video, full of inaccuracies. Here are the basic facts. Maddie's mom and I got divorced in 2005. In America, about half of marriages end in divorce.
It's much more than that, and the average marriage lasts 8.7 years in America. But anyway.
And it's natural for young children to feel abandoned. One day the father's living in the house, and the next day he's not. That can feel like abandonment. Maddie's mom and I had some very ugly legal proceedings that Maddie is largely unaware of. I don't talk about it. But our divorce was probably worse than most. I lived in LaGrange, Illinois from 2007 to 2011, just down the street from the kids.
So, another contradiction there. She said he didn't live just down the street a mile, or if he did, it was just for a few months. It was for 4 years. 4 years! How many more times is that than a few months? A few months, 3 months, so 4, 8, 12. So she got it wrong she was off by 16 times. Wow. Oh no, she's real honest.
Saw the kids all the time. Then in 2011, Wanda and I bought a house in Willowbrook, Illinois, which is about an 8-minute drive from the kids. Maddie's mom then got remarried in 2012. She moved to Wilmette, Illinois, which is about a 1-hour drive north from our house. The kids were older by this point. I continued to see all kids who wanted to see me. Would make the 1-hour drive to Wilmette, if any kid wanted to hang out with me. Now, teenage girls generally want to do their thing with their friends. I saw my son the most because he wanted to. I don't force the kids to hang out with me. If they want to hang out, cool. If they don't want to hang out, fine. Generally, teenage girls don't like to hang out with their parents. They like to hang out with their friends. Maddie is correct that the girls did not come over to the house, even though we were very close by. They came 3 times. Once to our place in LaGrange, which was a bit more than a mile down the street from her house, and they came twice to our house in Willowbrook.
So, see, she implied that it was him that wasn't visiting them, right, as if he didn't want to see them. But the truth of the matter is, he didn't want to force them to see him. And they didn't want to see him probably because they took mommy's side, because, the sisterhood. Yeah.
Which was an 8-minute drive. And that was it. The girls didn't want to validate my wife, Wanda. We've been married since 2006. So the girls did not want to come over to the house, even though we were just down the street. It was a solidarity thing with Mom. My son Peter would sometimes hang out at the house. He didn't seem to have any problem with Wanda. But usually we went to movies, restaurants, water parks, a beach on Lake Michigan, paintball gunfight parks, that kind of thing. Teenage girls can be absolutely brutal, by the way, especially on divorced dads. If you're a divorced dad with young girls, get ready for a rough ride. My only advice to you, be patient. They will grow up, and you will get along with them when they reach adulthood. All you can really do is show them that you're there for them when they want to interact with you. You can't force interaction. Eventually they will interact with you. Boys are really so much...
By the way, I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. I wouldn't have taken that kind of liberal approach to parenting. If I were him and I had scheduled visitation, I would make them see me. I don't care what it is they want to do on their own time. They don't want to see me, they're gonna see me. And that way, when they're older, they can't say, well, he never saw us. And then they learn another reality of life, that you don't always get what you want. It's also a very good way of showing them you care regardless of what they want in the moment. And then they'll understand that when they grow up. So I think he made a mistake there. But anyway, let's continue.
Much easier to raise than girls. And I'm speaking generally here. Boys do tend to get into behavior trouble, but boys are much less complicated mentally. They tend to take things in stride and don't get wrapped up in drama. Anyways, no, we did not move to Florida. Wanda and I bought
Another lie!
a second house in Florida in 2015, but we still maintained the Illinois house.
Oh, but it's true from a certain point of view, because they had a house in Florida and they stayed down there sometimes, so I wasn't lying. Not really. Yeah, you were.
And remember, the kids were older by this point. 2 were in college, 2 were in high school. The kids were doing their own thing by this point. We would typically stay in Florida in the winter, and then stay in Illinois when the weather was nice.
See the misrepresentation? She's trying to make it seem like he dumped them, that he abandoned them when they were in their greatest need, when they're at a very early age, 5, 6 years old. All lies. She wants to present herself as more of a victim because that's what's in vogue now. That's what's popular now.
Spring, the summer, and the fall. We would shuttle back and forth between houses. Wanda and I still travel back and forth between Illinois and Florida, even though the kids have grown up and dispersed around the country and the world, except for my son, who is still in Chicago. Okay, so Maddie graduated from Northwestern University in 2021. Upon graduation, she went to Los Angeles in hopes of becoming a Hollywood screenwriter. She asked me for $5,000 to help get her set up in Los Angeles.
$5,000 to get her set up? She didn't mention that. It's very recent, by the way.
Which I agreed to, against my better judgment. Basically, I have trouble saying no to Maddie. That's another tendency of divorced dads. We really can't say no to our daughters. In addition, her mom and I bought her a used car, a Ford Fiesta.
See, this is a problem. They'll buy her a used car as well. If you don't say no, they tend to start to take your financial aid, your help, your largesse for granted, and at the same time, they'll start to resent you for it, as we can see is the case here.
I think her mom and I pitched in $2,500 each. Maddie might have put in some money also. I think the car was about $7,500. I also co-signed a lease for her on her apartment. Now this is very different from how I was treated by my dad when I graduated from college. My dad gave me 0 after my last day in college. He was done. Now I'm not complaining.
By the way, my parents gave me 0 after high school. I had to work my way through school. I didn't get any help from anybody, so I was in the same boat as this guy.
I love my dad. I wasn't expecting anything. And I think that's how it was for most kids in those days. Once college was done, the kids were expected to stand on their own 2 feet, instantly. Like the day after graduation. At some point, you just have to throw the kid into the deep end of the pool and see if he or she can make it.
No, that's trauma!
That's how it worked in those days. But not these days, apparently. So against my better judgment, I gave Maddie $5,000 for adulthood startup money in LA, co-signed her apartment lease, and paid $2,500 toward her used Ford Fiesta. But also, she had broken up with her boyfriend around this time. She said she needed to go to grief counseling and therapy. She and her mom wanted me to pay for that too. That's where I drew the line. I consider medical care to be like when you're sick or have a broken leg or need stitches, got into a car accident, stuff like that. Not grief counseling over a breakup with a boyfriend. Also, counseling and psychology today are completely dominated by far-left female wokesters. Almost no males in that profession. So no doubt her therapist would be telling her the problem was her dad. The last thing I wanted to pay for was more brainwashing against her dad and against men in general.
See, this, I just wanted to interject here. He's got a weird mix, doesn't he? On one hand, he's got his own woke, libtard, hippie kind of view of the world. She's not really lying. Her perceptions are true, even though she's not telling the truth, so she's lying. But on the other hand, he seems pretty red-pilled when it comes to some things. It's a weird mix. Very odd.
So I guess these were the medical bills that I was refusing to cover. Now, she did land a job in LA with NBC Peacock streaming, and that was going very well for her. She loved it. She was an assistant writer for a show. But then the writer's strike hit, which lasted about 6 months, and she temporarily lost her job or was laid off at NBC Peacock streaming. She, of course, approached me to see if I could help her out with funds. Otherwise, she said she'd be forced to move back to Chicago and live with Mom.
So this is the guy that she has no relationship with, but she's constantly hitting him up for money, and he's helping her constantly up until very recently, and she has the nerve to go online and badmouth this guy? Wow. Just wow.
So I agreed to pay her $250 per week while the writer's strike was still going on.
Gee, I wish I had parents like that. I wish I had that kind of help, you know. If I can't work, if I'm having some medical issue, can you, somebody out there, please pay for my rent? No. I have a pee-pee, so no.
And until she could land some other kind of work, even temporary work. And I told her this would be a month-to-month thing. I wasn't going to just pay her $250 per week indefinitely. She might have to get work at a car wash or Starbucks if this writer's strike doesn't end soon. Or, God forbid, get a job at a bank. So I paid the $250 per week, I think for 10 weeks.
It's an interesting comment, by the way. God forbid, get a job at a bank. So you think that's a subtle knock at her probably having a huge issue with, I don't know, our economic system or capitalism in general. I don't know.
Till she was able to land a job at Netflix, which apparently was not affected by the writer's strike for some reason. She was also using the writer's strike period to build her social media career as a kind of side hustle. And she's gotten her social media side hustle to a point where she brings in some money with that. I admire Maddie for this. One thing I will say about Maddie, she is a very hard worker. When she sets her mind to something, she will achieve it. When she was growing up, I'd always tell her, you know what I love about you, Maddie? What, Dad? You're a doer, I would say. And she said, I love that, Dad. I'm a doer. And she would repeat this throughout childhood. I'm a doer. It became a thing. And she really is. Maddie is a doer. Here's a good story about Maddie, which I love and I hope she loves. And I think this story might change the lives of many people who watch this video. So one day she says, Dad, I want to get in better physical shape, but there's a problem. What's that? I asked. Well, I hate to exercise. I said, the reason that you hate to exercise is you are thinking about all the pain that you're going to feel while exercising. Here's what I'd like you to do. Schedule a time each day when you commit to going to the gym. You put on your gym outfit, your sneakers, and you head down there. Then, if when you get there, you decide you don't want to actually go into the gym, that's fine. Just go home. You've accomplished your goal for the day. Victory. You went to the gym, made it to the parking lot, then went home. Mission achieved. Do this the next day at exactly the same time. Maybe this happens for several days. You make it to the parking lot of the gym, then go home. Victory. But one day you'll probably decide to go into the gym and then go home, maybe without even getting on the treadmill or trying out the equipment. But then one day you might decide to get on the treadmill for a few minutes, then go home. The next day you might decide to stay on the treadmill for 30 minutes. The next day maybe you try out some other equipment. Then maybe you find a dance fitness class that looks appealing. You'll meet people. Fitness becomes a lifestyle. It's just something you do each day, like brushing your teeth. The main thing is to commit to starting each day. Don't think about the work. Don't think about the pain. Just start each day and see what happens. If all that happens is that some days you make it to the parking lot and then go home, well, that's fine. Victory. You've achieved your goal. Mission accomplished. Maddie looks at me and says, I love that. 6 months later, Maddie had washboard abs and looked amazing. Okay, back to Maddie.
So, yeah, I agree with him to a certain point, but I don't believe in mindless exercise. This dude, for example, decided to take up breakdancing at 55 years old. He loved it, he enjoyed it, and that was his exercise. I really don't believe in what I call mindless exercise myself. I practice, for example, the sword. I've done it for 40 years plus, so almost every day. I do get 2 days of rest a week, but, practicing the sword, it gives me 98%, 97, 98% of, my aerobic capacity. has been reached, so it's super exercise. There's a lot of resistance work in it, and it gives me something to master, and I have mastered it quite a long time ago. And I'd say like 1,200 cuts, sometimes more, various other movements. But it's a discipline. If you're going to take up some kind of exercise, have it be something that requires mastery, that you have to consistently work at. And even though you have diminishing returns and, over the years and decades, you improve less and less and less, there's still new plateaus that can be reached. I'm not a big fan of mindless exercise, like going out running and that kind of stuff. It's very difficult to keep that up. Not saying impossible, but for most people, they can't keep it up just because, the mindless aspect. Anyway, let's continue.
His Hollywood career. Eventually, the Hollywood writer's strike ended, and she got her job back on the show she was working on for NBC Peacock streaming. But she still constantly needed money from me. These Hollywood jobs pay almost nothing at the junior level. So yes, it is a financial struggle for her. But this idea that Maddie and I have not had a good relationship is just not true. Well, at least in my mind. Of course, it's possible she's thinking something differently than what she's showing. But let's just randomly scroll through our text conversations to see what they're like. For one thing, we're texting with each other all the time, just literally all the time. Back and forth with, little emojis and love, I love you. Hi, Dad, for Christmas, I want a specific fabric tapestry. I've been eyeing it forever, and I want it in my room so badly. It's $300. Is this something you'd be willing to get me for Christmas instead of the usual check?
Wow.
I answer, okay. When will you be arriving in Illinois?
Sounds like it's a pay-to-play kind of thing. I mean, she knows that he wants to see her, and she knows that she can get stuff out of him, and, she leverages that and asks for stuff, and then kind of programs him to give her stuff in exchange for getting to see her. She really doesn't seem to care about her father all that much. He seems to care about her a ton. She seems to see him as nothing more than a sacrificial lamb, something to be used and abused and tossed aside at her convenience. Wow.
12:22, she says, exclamation point. Okay, good, I say, exclamation point. I'll be there then too. When do you get in? Looks like everyone wants to do dinner Friday night. I get in Friday. Put me down. Love. Another love here, one of these love type things right here, like that. And then
It seems like Dad is disposable if it serves her purposes, her needs, her wants, her desires. Yeah.
that's pretty much just kind of how we communicate all the time. It's just, I love you
And she takes advantage of his unconditional love. So sad.
and all this stuff. And she just tells me about what's going on in her life pretty much every day. My plane made it. Sorry I missed you. How was your Christmas? Thanks. That's what our conversation's like, and literally they're just all the time like that.
It's a lot of text.
So it just goes and 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 goes. So I don't actually know how you could have a better relationship if you just read through those texts.
Well, she said they have no real relationship. That's an awful lot of texts for no relationship.
And it's constant. Let's see, I'm scrolling through my text conversations with Maddie, and here I'm reminded that on August 7th, 2023, I pay her $750 for medical bills. Wait, I thought I wasn't paying medical bills. And I have no idea what this medical bill was. Maybe it was the counseling, maybe it was the therapy. I have no idea. And remember that birthday I forgot? Turns out I didn't actually forget it. On March 8th of 2023, Maddie texts me and says she blew out a tire and broke a rim on her car, and that it would cost $700 to fix. I texted back, I'll send you $200 early for birthday. Then maybe Mom can send you a bit. Maddie texts back, OMG, exclamation point. That's nice, Dad. That really helps with the car.
Yeah, she knew that he would give her the money, or at least some of it. That's why she brought up the amount, okay? She didn't want to ask. She's very manipulative. I get a very sociopathic feel from this daughter.
Then when her birthday actually arrived, I just lost track of what day it was. I'm a writer, and I tend to zone out sometimes. I often don't know what month it is.
He's a writer, she's a writer. Well, it seems like she's really inherited quite a bit from him and gotten a lot from him, and I don't see very much appreciation on her part.
much less what the actual day is. So then when I wished her a happy belated birthday a couple of days late, I guess I accidentally hit the question mark instead of the exclamation point. So it was happy birthday, question mark. It was just an error, kind of a funny error though. Happy birthday, question mark. Now the male brain would think nothing of this, but the female brain will search for hidden meaning in the question mark. Nope, no meaning, just a typo in a text message. Do you ever...
Again, some very red-pilled thinking and way of viewing things, and yet he sounds rather hippie-ish on other subjects. It's a strange mix.
Make typos in text messages? Oh, and she says to me, happy belated birthday, Dad. I had it in my calendar wrong. I hope you had...
So she forgot his birthday. Ha ha ha! That's great! You gotta love the lack of self-awareness and hypocrisy. Well, it's okay if I forget your birthday, Dad. It ain't no big deal. You're not important, and I'm just proving the realist philosopher's point that I just see you as a disposable resource. I don't know your birthday either, but how dare you not remember mine, even though he did remember, and it was just a typo.
The best day ever. Did you do anything fun? Thank you, Maddie. We just went out to dinner. Nothing much. Hope you are doing well. Love you. By the way, I don't think my dad ever remembered my birthday. Not once. My mom always did, but not Dad. I'm not sure remembering birthdays was a thing for dads back then. My dad would come home and maybe he'd see a birthday cake out or some birthday decorations and he'd say, oh, is it someone's birthday? Let's crack open some champagne. But he would never remember his kids' birthdays. Not once.
Yeah, this is good because that in some way helps to offset the overly high amount of attention the mother tends to give and to keep the kid from getting too large an ego and too large a sense of self-importance. Unfortunately, that didn't happen here because, you know, divorce, and he wasn't around to set those kind of boundaries, unfortunately. He had $5 million to pay, yo!
I'm also going to stop remembering birthdays. How about you just tell me when your birthday is, when it actually arrives, and then I'll say, happy birthday. And when you think about it, it really makes no financial sense anymore for males to get married. It's financial suicide for males to get married today because of the way the legal system is set up.
Oh, but wait a second. What if the people in the legal system have their own truth, and then their truth is it is great? So, you know, you're wrong, or your truth is valid, their truth is valid. Wait, their truth is invalid? So I don't know how you can hold these weird, contradictory viewpoints, that there's such a thing as your truth and my truth, and at the same time say there's some kind of objective problem with the legal system. Some weird, contradictory beliefs this guy has.
And the big winners in divorce are the divorce lawyers.
And women.
They are incentivized financially to keep the litigation going as long as possible, to make it as bitter as possible.
Notice they didn't point that out. He's probably afraid of getting more blowback than he already has and losing clients. He must know that the biggest winner in a divorce is actually the woman, generally speaking.
So this system just promotes conflict, division, misery, bankruptcy. I also blame the education system. Yes, Maddie was brainwashed against her dad by her mom for 19 years. That's true. And this happens in most divorces. In a divorce situation, the mother is the one who really ends up raising the kids.
Yeah.
It's then the dad's job to provide the money. That's how it works. Meanwhile, the mom, the ex-wife, is with the kids almost the entire time, dumping all over the dad, the ex-husband. And that's the way it works in every divorce that I've seen.
Yeah, by the way, I heard some of these goofballs in the Daily Wire calling this guy up and saying, well, you know, giving money doesn't make you not a deadbeat dad. There's other responsibilities, there's other duties, there's other things you need to be doing as a father. Just give him money. And this guy, he could still be a deadbeat even though he gave him $10 million in today's money. Even though that's exactly what men are expected to do. Because they almost never get custody. And they have to work so hard to pay off all that money, there's no practical way they could be there in their children's lives very much to begin with. And yet somehow, you know, the Daily Wire and other fake liberals, controlled opposition shills, are finding ways to label this guy a deadbeat. It's just appalling.
But now there's this other element. The kids are also being brainwashed into leftist woke insanity by the schools, starting in kindergarten, all the way through college and grad school. Girls in school are taught to hate men, to see themselves as victims of the so-called patriarchy. And they're taught that there are many genders. And why not consider changing your gender?
By the way, they have no problem with the patriarchy when it gives them $5 million.
Kindergartners are taught this today. The schools should be teaching reading, writing, math, science, and marketable skills that will actually help the kids succeed in life.
Yeah.
There is almost nothing of value being taught in the schools at any.
Yeah, when I was a kid, they had shop. You could study metalworking. You could study, what was it? Building engines. You could study maintenance on cars. They had a VOTEC, a vocational institute that you could go to with your elective courses. And you could get experience as a car mechanic in public school. Nowadays, they don't have any of that.
Level nowadays. It's all political indoctrination into woke ideology. So here's my advice. Don't send your kids to college or even to school at all. The schools are pure poison. Homeschool your kids instead. Then instead of wasting $350,000 sending your kids to Harvard or some elite college, or any college for that matter, just have your kids learn a marketable skill for free or almost free online. There are also good courses at community colleges. A degree from Harvard carries very little weight today. Elon Musk, by the way, has said this many times. School and college are mostly a colossal waste of time and money. I just want things to go back to the way they were, for everything to go back to normal, where we're all having dinners, laughing, joking, and hanging out, like we were a few weeks ago at Christmas. Maddie's older sister Tori has come to some of my breakdance battles, one in Chicago, one in New York City last year. She loved it.
It's impressive. Bitcoin millionaire as well.
I love Maddie to pieces. I love all my kids. And that's really all I have to say. What I prefer to be talking about is Bitcoin, and why Bitcoin is really the only hope for freedom's survival.
So there we go. There we go. So in some ways he seems very red-pilled, but in other ways he's rather naive and misguided and holds contradictory viewpoints at the same time. So I'd love to sit down with this guy and give him some, pointers, some criticism, some critical analysis of where he's having these, this cognitive dissonance that's going on, and he's having these weird contradictions that I think are heavily impacting his life in a negative way, especially when it comes to his daughter. If I were him, I would cut her off completely. I would say, okay, sweetheart, you're on your own. Bye-bye. Yeah, well, we'll see how quickly she loses that angst and that animus that she has against him, by the way, which is totally completely misplaced once she actually needs his help and she knows that she's not going to get it. This guy's too nice. I have mixed feelings about this dude. I think he's too nice. He's got some really good views and at the same time some really wokey views of his own. So I find it interesting that he's so critical of woke-tardism when he himself holds many of those same viewpoints. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments section. Should he continue to love his daughter unconditionally? And by the way, does that unconditional love in any way, shape, or form mean that he should be continuing to support her financially? Can you unconditionally love her but practice tough love at the same time? Does unconditional love mean unconditional financial assistance as well? No matter what kind of dire straits your kids get into, no matter how poorly they treat you, you're still going to continue to help them, which in my opinion just reinforces their bad behavior and lets them know that they're going to get bailed out no matter how badly they act, and therefore they have no incentive to change and adopt better behavior, which would actually be the good and the right thing for him to do. Encourage her to improve as an individual. Encourage her to get some kind of scruples and to be a more moral and right and ethical person in how she treats others? Or should he just continue to financially support her no matter how badly she acts? Let me know what you think in the comments, and please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not already. Hit that notification bell because you know they're not going to notify you because I'm way too R-pilled, baby. They're not going to notify you. No notification when I post new content. So hit that notification bell. Also, don't forget to follow me on Rumble and BitChute, where I am the Realist Philosopher. And please consider supporting my Patreon. I am the Realist Philosopher there as well. I could most certainly use your help there. And on that note, I'm out of here. I am the Realist Philosopher, also known here on YouTube as the Bachelor Philosopher, and I wish you all a good and pleasant day. Take care.